All right, you guys, we're gonna pause our morning work. So if you have 1, 2, if you have unfinished work at your desk, so if you have your math assessment or you have your book cover and stuff, would you please take a minute, put those on my desk, and then just come right back to your seat. If you do not have your bin, yes, please keep your novels on your desk. If you don't have your bin, please grab that on your way back to your seat. You guys have 1 minute. Get your bins and come back to your seat. 1 minute.
Bins earlier. I'll give you whatever candy I have. And you get
I have a bunch of them. You're grabbing your bin, coming back to your seat. If you have your book or math test that you're creating, please take those back to my seat. Your novels you can keep. Bring them. So thanks for asking. About 20 seconds, you guys, to have your. You have 20 seconds to have your bins and be at your seat. I see a lot of bins still on the shelves, guys. We need to start expedition, please. 10. 5 seconds. Get your bins and back to your seat. All right, you guys. We are moving into lesson 2 in our new expedition module. I know some of you were working on the glossary yesterday. Some of you were working on it this morning. I wanted to show you something really quickly before we get into the lesson. So if you did not finish the glossary in your book, so remember right here,
I think it tells you the definition.
10, 11, we were working on this glossary. If you're not finished this because you've been working on some other things during work time, that is fine. I'm going to show you where you can find these definitions. The goal is that you are trying to work on these when we are working on them as a group, but I know that sometimes, sorry guys, I have like a million things open, none of them the thing I want. But sometimes we go fast and we can't get through them all, or we're not sure on the context. So you can also find this vocabulary in your Google Classroom. So you're not getting out your computers right now. I'm just quickly showing you where you can find these vocabulary words for this module. Dylan, would you have a seat for me, please? So, Evie, we're going to stay on task for just a few minutes here, okay? So, Expedition Module 2, American Revolution, in your Google Classroom. I put a vocabulary link there. And this will take you to all the words we're going to be working on in this whole module. And then if you want to know the definitions, if you don't know what like a colonist is, you can click it and then it'll open up the definition for you. So you'll have full access to this. But when we're working on the glossary in class, we're going to try to work on it in class. But this is if you get behind or you miss anything, that access is there for you. Okay? So I just wanted you to know that you had that. No. Why were we cheating to look at definitions?
What if it was on like a text? Yeah, what if it's a spelling test or something?
Would you have access to your computer and the glossary list during a spelling test?
Well, because I literally write it down.
So when we do things like when we cheat and things like that, it only harms ourselves. So, you know, if that is something that you choose to do, it prevents your learning, right? It doesn't But that being said, the more we see a word and the more we write a word down, the faster we get to memorizing and learning that word. So if you see the word Continental Army and then you write it on a little scrap piece of paper, or that's more practice. That's good.
Am I the only one?
But we're not using these for spelling. So
notes on a spelling test?
Am I the only one
That
that
makes sense.
when someone asks me to spell a word, I have to write it down on paper and type it because I can't just think it. Yes, see?
yeah, the more practice you have, that's. But my friends,
I can picture
we're not
any
talking
word
about
in my
spelling right
head.
now. So can we hang tight with those thoughts? And then when we're in all block this afternoon, if you have questions about spelling, we can look at that. Okay. We are going to be starting a new novel today, but it's a little bit different than our last one. And right off the bat, not everybody is getting a copy of the novel. We're actually gonna be working in groups for the novel.
Can we pick our group?
Nope. Would you please use your hands when you're asking questions, guys, same as normal? Okay. Hang tight though, Evie, I'd like to get some instruction out first, okay? Learning targets today, you guys. If you're reading a books right now, if you could hang tight so you can pay attention to what we are doing. Okay? Learning targets. I can describe the feelings of the character Samuel by drawing on specific details in chapter 1 of The Arrow Over the Door. So what book do you think we're going to be reading today, you guys? Dylan, thanks for using your hand.
Over the door.
The Arrow Over the Door.
I thought it was.
As you can see, Mary, would you have a seat for me? As you can see, this is a much smaller book than Esperanza. We're going to be getting through this book quite a bit faster, but we're doing some deeper character analyzing, right? We're trying to look at perspectives of people during the Revolutionary War. Okay. I'm going to pass out these books. There is not enough for everybody, so I'm going to be passing out 1 or 2 to each table group so that you can just take a look at the cover, flip through the book. We're just going to do a quick little notice and wonder.
Okay, so
Wait, we're doing table groups or did you assign us groups?
For right this moment, we're doing table group. We're doing table groups right now. We're not reading. All we're doing is just taking a look at the cover, taking a look at the back, flipping through it together.
is this the illustrated by the same person?
Oh, you guys, I have 3 people coming up to me right now and calling my name. Thank you, Jessica. I'm in the middle of teaching, so remember, I said this a little while ago. If you need to ask me something that is not an emergency, you're just gonna 1, 2. Remember, instead of coming up to me while I'm in the middle of teaching, because it disrupts everybody else, if you have an immediate question that is not an emergency, you can put it on one of these Post-it notes, and then I'll take a quick peek at it and see if it's something that I need to deal with immediately. If it is an emergency, obviously that is different, but if it's not an emergency, so we're not interrupting everybody's learning, Post-it note for you, okay? Take question.
It's not about what you were just talking about, but like, is this illustrated by the same dude that made this like
I don't know. That's something we can maybe look up later. Okay. So I want you to look at the cover, flip through the book with your partner. I want you to, or if you don't, you may not have a partner if you're sitting by yourself, but no, you're sitting with the person beside you, guys. You are looking at this book with the person beside you. Looking at the book with the person beside you. You're looking at the front of the book, the back of the book, you're flipping through. Notices, wonders, questions. Take 2 minutes to look at it with your partner. Take 2 minutes to look at it with your partner, and then we will touch base. Okay?
It smells like a book.
2 minutes, you guys. Dylan, where's your book? Your partner's waiting for to see the book.
I noticed a word.
Yeah, that's an emergency situation. So if you're not feeling well, that's an emergency. You can tell me about that one, okay?
I'm kidding, let me stop that.
Yep. So you and your partner are looking at the book together.
So I can look at it. I know there's a
You just look at it.
All right, you guys, hang tight. 1, 2. All right, we're gonna have a quick chat. Remy, Charlie, have a seat.
He's not letting me see the book.
That's why we're gonna have a quick chat. So, could somebody tell me, what does working with a partner look like? Nathan, what does working with a partner look like?
You're letting them see the book, and you're letting and you have to collaborate with each other.
Collaborate together.
You have to let people both see the book for the same amount of time.
Yeah. You could also look at it at the same time, right? One person could flip, both
Yeah,
people
but
can look, you can take
we're
turns.
not greedy with
Yeah.
the book.
Jaylani? Oh, you guys, we're having this meeting specifically for you guys, so please make sure we're listening. Jaylani?
Like, notice about like partners, maybe like what is this picture like I mean,
Right, you can have the conversation with your partner. What they notice, what do they wonder? Get the communication started. Yeah.
Do they laugh about
Any other things about when you're working with a partner, what it should look like? Nathan? another
You
comment?
should take their information too, not just yours.
Okay, so make sure both you and your partner are looking at the book. You can look at it together. You can say, can I look at it for a minute? And then you can look at it for a minute, because you have 2 minutes, right? So let's try again. Okay, go with that.
I already had it. I already had it.
Tate, you guys can just work with your partner group, with your table group. You guys aren't like, that's right, but you can look at it by yourself. We're just looking at the book. We're just taking a look at the book. Zion, let's try and stay with our partner, okay? It's only 2 minutes. Emmy, I don't want to see it, remember? I don't want to see any of the things. Alright, well, this is your partner. You're looking at the book with your partner, not with the person that was having. Alright, you guys, go 1 more minute. Notices and wonders.
This is my favorite page number. Guys, look. There's your fish seven.
What is it? This guy's like, losing hand and that's why we're looking at books with your partner. Make sure we're looking at the books with your partner. Alright, you guys, about 10 more seconds, and then we're gonna have a seat, turn our voices off. We're missing so many people today. I think I actually can't do everybody else out there. Alright, you guys. 3, you're heading back to your seats. 2, you're ending your conversations. And 1, your voices are off, so you're focused on me. I think because we're missing so many people, I actually do have enough books for everybody today. If I did not just give you a book, if you don't have a book, please let me know, but I think I got one at everybody's desk since we're short. We're missing a lot of people today. Okay, notices and wonders, you guys. Notices and wonders. Thank you, Nathan, for using your hand. Nathan.
I read the back, and it seems like British is attacking some Indians, and they're getting. It says for young Samuel Russell, the summer of 1777 is a time of fear.
Okay. So we call them Native Americans or indigenous peoples. This book might call them Indians, okay? But we try very hard to say Native Americans or indigenous peoples, okay? No, you didn't know. That's just this is a new thing for us, guys. Jacob.
This guy, his name is Samuel. This is Samuel Russell. And I feel like he's like 7'5".
Oh, you saw a guy in the book who looks really
In
tall?
the book, that he's standing next to this girl and she looks tall. I mean, he's towering over her. Like he was in a doorway and he's like this is taller than the top of the doorway.
This really tall people.
Are you
Maybe-
talking about this? It's that guy.
Maybe he's like an adult and everyone else are kids. Who knows? We're gonna find out.
Door. Wait, what page?
All right, thank you, Nathan.
Let's see my
Evie, thank you for using your hand. Would you tell us some notices and wonders?
So,
Hey, we got
I realized
Yes.
there has to be an arrow, which makes me realize he probably has a bow. And there has to be a door.
I'm not going on. I just have to go down to the.
And there's a door. I realized.
Maybe it says the title of the arrow over the door, so maybe there's some arrows and some doors. Perhaps. All right, I'm gonna take 2 more notices and wonders, and then we're gonna move on because today is flying by. Dylan.
I noticed that the title says arrow over the door.
It does. Yes, thank you. Tate.
I noticed that there's a ton of words.
There is a lot of words. Okay. I said I was gonna take 2 more. I took 2 more. We are gonna read chapter 1 of the arrow over the door together. So please open your books.
Read it aloud.
Please turn. Oh. Please turn your books to page 1. It says cowards. You guys are going to be answering some questions in your workbook about this chapter. So make sure you're following along. Okay? I'll read out loud today's chapter. Tomorrow's chapter will maybe bounce around the class. And then the 3rd chapter, you guys are actually going to be reading aloud in small groups.
You know how, why does the one,
Remy, thank you for using your hands.
you know in Kyoko, when it has like, every chapter was from a different person's point of view in the book? That's how it is in here.
It is.
It tells you which person it's talking about in that
It is. Remy, you're doing something that's breaking my heart right now. And you're folding your book over like this, and it's breaking my heart.
in your heart.
Be
You're not
gentle.
supposed to do that.
Jen, Evie, I got it.
I
Thank you.
was coming about.
Because these books have to last us many, many years. Be gentle with them.
I don't like people lift their feet.
1, 2.
Hallelujah.
You guys using your hands, can you remind me what are expectations during instruction time? Jacob. Right, our voices are off, so we're actively listening. Elena? Right, we're not shouting out and talking over people. If we want to add to the conversation, hands are up. Okay. I'm going to read today's chapter. You are just following along. Zion, it's not snack time. We're following along, and I don't want Cheeto dust on the books. So please open your book to page 1. We're following along.
Page 1. Okay, I thought.
Page 1. It says 1 cowards, Samuel. This is Samuel's perspective. Okay? Books are open, guys. There they go, a voice said. There are the cowards. Samuel Russell clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles turned white. But he did not look around. He continued walking down the unpaved street with father and mother and Jonathan. The August sun was hot. Beads of sweat formed on Samuel's brow and upper lip, but he did not reach his hand up to wipe them away. He knew that voice. It belonged to Nathaniel Moon. Only 3 years ago, when they were both boys, Nathaniel had played with him whenever his family came to the settlement to buy their supplies. They had made boats together out of pieces of wood from the mill and floated them down the swift-running Fish Creek at the edge of the town, watching them rush into the wide Hudson River. So right off the bat, you guys, how do you think Samuel was feeling when someone called him a coward? When we just read that first little paragraph, what are your initial thoughts? Evie, thank you for using your hand.
He realized, they probably don't get along that well.
Maybe they don't get along that well. Friends on the right side of my classroom, I hear a lot of voices. Remember, if you're adding to our conversation, hands so that everybody gets heard and you're actively listening to the person who's sharing. Jacob?
I think because I feel like he really wanted to fight him, but he held it back.
So what emotion would that be maybe portraying? Maybe angry? Okay, Charlie?
Annoyed.
Maybe annoyed?
Oh.
Yeah, Tate?
He probably felt like a coward, so he clenched his fists and then I opened 2 seconds and clenched his teeth.
Maybe. We don't know yet. We're gonna find out, huh? Nathan?
It's a little disturbing that there's my first name and my last name in this book.
Yes, the character's name is Nathaniel, and the Hudson River is a big river that travels through both Canada and the United States.
Hudson.
All right, Nathaniel was no longer his friend. Nathaniel was going to be a drummer for Schuyler's regiment, taking the place of a boy who was shot in the retreat from Fort Edward. Nathaniel would go to fight against the British. He would march with the men and play his drum. He'd become a hero. We're following along in the book, okay? We're on page 2, about halfway down. But Samuel was not Nathaniel Moon. He'd never go to war. Cowards. That was what many people called him and his father and all his people. So we're on we're halfway down page 2. We're following along in our book.
Fighting is not
Fighting is not our way, Father said, resting one hand on Samuel's muscular arm. Love thine enemies. Thou must understand this. Samuel said nothing, even though he clenched his teeth so tightly that his temples throbbed. But Jonathan, his brother, seemed to understand. To be a friend is to be a friend to peace, Jonathan said. His tone was so much like that of father that Samuel sometimes felt as if he were the little brother and Jonathan, though 6 years younger, was the older one. You guys, take a look at that quote. It says, to be a friend is to be a friend to peace. Why do you think one friend is capitalized and one isn't? What are your thoughts? Charlie, what do you think?
It's more like specific.
Maybe, okay. Yep. Tate, thoughts? No? Okay. Evie?
I think it's the capital means he's more proper and he would rather fight than be friendly to the enemy people.
Okay. Francesca?
It's more emphasized.
Okay. Why do we use capitals in words, you guys? What is the purpose of a capital letter? What words do we capitalize? Henry?
Names and the first word at the beginning of the sentence.
Okay. So first words at the beginning of sentence, people's names. Jaylani?
If an I is by itself, then we capitalize it.
The letter I, we do capitalize that one. Yeah. Normally because that is, again, referring to a person, and usually with people, we capitalize. Yeah, Evie?
Mainly a specific person or place will be capitalized because I don't know it's important.
Yeah. So to be a friend is to be a friend to peace. So if we use capital letters to talk about places or people, I want you guys just, as we're reading, keep that little nugget in your heads, okay? That for some reason, the word friend here is capitalized. We're gonna see if we see anything else throughout our chapter that is similar to this, okay?
It was Jonathan.
It was Jonathan who always remembered the stories Mother told of those friends who had died for their beliefs. there had been a time when friends had had to hide from those who would jail or kill them. Once in England, when several Quaker parents were all taken away to jail, their children had faith so great that they continued to hold meetings on their own. Jonathan would have been one of those children, Samuel thought. All right, I've seen friend a few more times with a capital, and now I've seen the word meeting with a capital. What are your thoughts on that? Why would the word meeting have a capital? What do you think, Jacob? Okay, yeah. Elena?
Or either it's the word that they're trying to make like the center of the sentence.
Okay. Charlie?
I don't know if it's supposed to mean, but I don't see a greater. I also see Quaker.
Well, Quaker is another word. So we are going to learn what a Quaker is
I thought it was
in a little bit. So that's interesting that you say that. You think it's a cereal. So when you look at the oat,
No, it's oatmeal.
when you look at the oatmeal, there's that guy on there. Maybe that has something to do with what Quakers
Is that
are.
Quaker?
We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
He's
that's
supposed
a
to be
hat.
called.
He's Quaker.
All right, you guys, we're gonna find out, but I need your voices off, so I'm gonna read the rest of the chapter without stopping, and then we're gonna touch base on some of these ideas, okay?
Yeah,
He tried to recall those stories. It was no use. He could still hear Nathaniel's voice. It hurt so much to be called a coward, to have people look at you that way. It had never been easy for his people to be accepted, but it had gotten worse since the war had begun. The Quakers made up only a few of the families settled on the east side of the Hudson, at Saratoga in New York. Most of the settlers were Dutch, English, or German. Before the war began, there had been many who disliked the Friends, but there were at least as many who had treated them well enough. Perhaps they would not accept the hand of friendship held out to them. The shaking of hands was a Quaker custom that few wished to copy, for it was implied equality on both sides. But there had once been many who would smile at them or engage in conversation. It was not that way any longer. Things were so confused now. In the summer of 1777, Samuel knew that there were some families besides the Friends who were neutral. Yet at times it seemed as if everybody was at war with everyone else. We just turned to page 4. Some neighbors were loyalists and said they would fight to defend King George. The Patriots said they would fight for freedom from the king. I know I said I wasn't going to stop again, but those were two of our glossary words, right? Loyalists and patriots. Okay? So our loyalists are people loyal to Britain. Our patriots are people who want to become Americans. They're ready for America to be its own country.
Wanted to still be.
They want to be a part of
They
Britain.
want to be part of Britain, but they live in America.
Yes, because America is part of Britain at this point in time.
You're at only a few seasons.
Yes. Dylan?
What does Quaker mean?
We're gonna get into what it is. This chapter might explain it a little bit, and then we're gonna chat about it, okay? Only a few seasons ago, those people had been friends. Now they were ready to kill each other, even their blood relatives. They call each other Tories, supporters of the kings, and rebels, those who wanted the American colonies to be free from English rule. Even the Indians were divided. Some tribes fought for the king and some for the Americans, while some Indian villages or whole nations might have people fighting on both sides. And both sides suspected the Quakers were giving comfort to the enemy when Friends wished only to stay on the path of peace. Samuel tried to find the inner light inside himself that would give him peace. He felt only confusion, like the confusion all around them in the settlement today. A battle had taken place in Bennington just a week ago. Bennington was no more than a day's journey to the southeast. Since then, many people had begun to leave Saratoga. Those people had already been fearful of what would happen if the British and their fierce Indian allies came. Now, since Bennington, everyone knew that the British General Burgoyne, and I apologize, this might be pronounced Burgoyne. I did not look this one up ahead of time, I will clarify the pronunciation of this person's name. For now, I'm gonna say Bergine, okay? Would come with his army. Battles would likely be fought not far from here. It was time to flee. Already most people to the north had left. Many of those who were secretly loyalist stayed though. They sat in their homes hoping for the sound of war. Half the mills, houses, and shops scattered through the settlement were deserted. The shop of Tom Watt, the baker, was empty. Tom himself was boarding a window shut. Tom had always been friendly to the Russell family, tipping his hat to father and mother, his broad moon face beaming as he smiled at Samuel and Jonathan. But today, he did not turn to look at them. A party of loyalist raiders, cowboys as people now called them, had driven off Tom's best horse, his 2 cows, and all his pigs the day after Schuyler's retreat. Now Tom had no interest in the peace-loving friends. Tom Watt's family was packing and waiting. All their belongings were tied on a cart that Tom had made himself. Its wheels, 2 big end pieces of log he had sawed off, with holes in the middle to fit on the axle tree. Tom clucked to the horses. For a moment, the cart would not move. Then, finally it did, thumping and bumping as it went. The green wood wheels screeched like the whining puppy held by Tom's little daughter. She was sitting beside her mother as Tom walked next to the rough cart, which could not have held them all. Samuel watched as the Watt family rolled out of town. Perhaps they would never come back. Tom had always had great fear of the Indians. He did not want to end up scalped. A little shiver went down Samuel's back at the thought. A woman had been tomahawked and her family massacred by Indians that July in Fort Edward, only 15 miles to the north. Father said that the Indians were like all other people, but other people were not as understanding about the Indians as the Friends were. It did not matter if some of the Indians spoke English as well as any white person, or prayed to the same Christian God, or even dressed in the same clothes as their white neighbors. All Indians were dangerous savages to those people whose minds were closed against them. Father patted him on the shoulder. I am going to the blacksmith's shop. Stay with thy mother and thy brother. Samuel nodded, feeling the return of a little pride. At 14, he was almost a grown man, his chest nearly as broad as father's, old enough to watch over mother and Jonathan. You guys, we still have about 2.5 pages, so let's take a minute and just move our bodies. We've been sitting for a long time, so if you want to just stand up, stay near your desk. Stay near your desk. Just stretch it out for a minute, move your bodies. It's hard to sit and listen for so long.
This is crazy.
We're not getting snacks, we're not wandering. You guys, stay near your desks, please. Only if the door comes. Hazel, Jenica, we're staying near our desks, please. Willie, near our desks. We're just moving for a minute. Just moving for a minute.
I'm gonna die. But I know if I
Alright guys, we're gonna come back to our seats in about 10 seconds. Alright, we're gonna come back to our seats in about 5 seconds. 4, 3, we're heading back to our seats. 2, we're finishing up our conversation. People buy your backpacks, you should not be in your backpacks. That's not the purpose of this. And 1, you should be back at your seats with your voices off, ready to learn. Okay, we are on page 7 at the very top. Before I start, has anybody picked up on anything else about Quakers and Friends? Any other ideas before we continue? Evie, thank you for using your hand.
So, people are moving away because people are getting massacred. So, people are trying to abandon
Okay,
the settlement.
Nathan?
I'm just excited for learning about history.
Oh, you guys are very excited.
I just like history.
Nathan, how did you tell us to go back to
Say thank you.
It took a lot of brain power to do that.
maybe. That's okay. We can, for the purpose of this lesson, we're likely going to say Indians a lot because that's what's in the book. But our goal in life is to say indigenous peoples or Native Americans because they're not from India. They're not Indians. Okay?
Because I kind of agree with Charlie, like, God's friends, so I think they're talking about, like, Germany and,
So maybe like allies.
and then, Quakers, I don't know, I just know the oatmeal.
Oh, I also know.
Why do we call it Indian? People call it Indian.
So when we came here, before America was America, they had darker skin, just like people from India, and so the white people who came here decided to call them Indians. Over time, we started calling them Native Americans because they are native to the Americas. Now it's more normal to call them indigenous peoples because they are the original peoples who were here. They are indigenous to these lands. But I am not an expert on indigenous peoples, so I may not have all the answers you're looking for. I am so excited about all your questions, but right now I'm looking for just Quaker and Friend questions or answers, and then I want to finish the last 2 pages, you guys, because we still have questions to answer about this. Evie?
I think Quakers is actually the guy on the oatmeal cover.
Okay, oatmeal's disgusting.
All right, guys. I'm gonna put a pin in this.
Delicious oatmeal.
We're gonna put a pin in this discussion.
Oatmeal's amazing.
I hate
Save, Charlie, save that question for me. I'm gonna finish the chapter, you guys. I'm gonna finish the chapter. Possibly. We've got to get into today's work, okay? But I'm happy to talk about this more during crew as well. So, top of page 7. Father crossed over to the blacksmith shop, following close behind Mother and Jonathan. Samuel went into the general store. While Mother walked back to the back of the store, Samuel and Jonathan drifted toward a group of men talking together at the front. Bennington, Brewster, the storekeeper, was saying. Horrible it was. British and Tories and Germans and Indians painted like so many devils. Think of how that poor Tory girl was killed by Bergine's own Indians. That Jane McCrae, murdered by those fiends, said Restcombe Green. You guys, your book should be open. You're looking at page 7. You're following along, okay? And what will happen when such savages come here? It has happened before, said old Waite Folliot. The clay pipe that seemed to be part of his hand made a circle of smoke as he lifted it up. Remember when the French Indians burned Fort Saratoga in 45? 30 killed and scalped, 60 poor souls taken to Canada to be tortured and killed, or worse yet, made into Indians or papists. And I have heard it said that that is the same Canadian Indians who have come down to join with Bergine now. It is not the Canadians, but the fearsome Mohawk that do trouble me, Restcombe Green broke in. Top of page 9. They cleaved to the British out of love and loyalty to the spirit of Sir William Johnson. 3 years dead he might be, but his nephew Guy is the Crown's Indian Commissioner in his place, and more dangerous than was his uncle. And by his side is the Mohawk serpent, Joseph Brant. He might dress in fine clothes like an English gentleman, but he is a black-hearted demon who would see us all scalped. Mark you this, said Brewster, raising his voice. The Tories, such as Guy Johnson and his kind, are as bad as any Indians, if not worse. Those Tory raiders went harrying on horseback all along the river, driving off people's livestock to feed their British masters. Where Johnson and Brant, the Mohawk go, blood and fire will follow. Brewster's words brought Mother rushing from the back of the store, thoughts of shopping forgotten. The men stopped talking. They stared as she spread her arms like a mother hen raising her wings to shoo her 2 sons out of the store. Soon they were out the door, back in the burning heat of the sun. Here the shade under the chestnuts, or there is the shade under the chestnuts. We shall wait there in peace for thy father, Mother said. But as they walked towards the wide-branched trees, top of page 10, there was little peace in behind his mother and his brother, Jonathan kept looking back at him anxiously. He had always been able to tell when Samuel was upset. "We are friends," Samuel whispered to himself. "Yet if any loyalists or Indians should try to harm us, I will fight for my family." Okay, closing the book.
About the tall boy.
Closing the book. Okay. So, sorry you guys. So, by the end of the chapter, did we have any other ideas? So Samuel said that we are friends, or he is a friend. So any other ideas on friends and Quakers before I give us a little bit more information?
No.
Abby?
So the friends, I think they're more referring to either the Indian, no, the Quakers. I think they're referring to the Quakers as the friends.
Yeah, so that is exactly right. So the people of the town call Samuel and his family Quakers, but the Quakers themselves, they don't like being called Quakers. They call themselves friends. So that's why it's capitalized. It's because that's like the name of what they call their group. They are the friends. And the other word that we had capitalized was meeting. And that's because that's what when they gather, when the Quakers or the Friends gather to have meetings or to just hang out, they call it a meeting with a capital M because it's like it's a specific event, right? It's like Christmas, capital C, right? It's the specific event. Yeah, name it.
What are papists?
Ooh, I am not positive what a papist is, and we can definitely look that one up.
Because I when you were reading, you said
Yeah.
papist. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, my guess is that it is either another religion, or maybe someone who's not religious, or it's just a group of people that maybe their activities are
Different
not as
colors.
well liked. We can definitely look up what papist means. I don't know what that means right now. Charlie.
What was the parents that I was called like grape or something?
Do you remember what like the context was?
It was like the Indians are gonna do.
Oh, scalp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scalp. So back in the day, when people were at war with the Indians, or even when the Indians were at war with themselves, some of the groups of Indians would scalp, like cut someone's scalp off, because it's a trophy. Yeah, and they would see like, look how many people that I've defeated, and they would have like a trophy.
That's how you go to prison if you fight like that.
Yeah, definitely can't do that anymore.
Wait, what was that? What was the word?
Scalp. Like scalping.
No,
Scalp.
Scalp.
Papist. P-A-P-I-S-T. Papist.
Oh, that's
Okay.
why you have the dictionary.
All right.
No, I had it for another reason, but I can look it up.
So, I got a couple more questions for you guys. I want you guys to do a think, pair, share. Can someone remind me what that looks like? What the think, pair, share look like? Just make sure you're listening so you know. Jacob?
So take a couple minutes to think about whatever the topic is, then you pair up, and then you share.
Yeah, so you're gonna take a minute to think to yourself. So what does that sound like? What does it sound like when you're thinking to yourself?
It sounds like
It's
Nathan?
independent, so it's your 0.
There's no sound, right? We're just thinking in our heads. Then we'll take a minute to talk with your table group, and then we'll take a minute to share as all of us. So my question for you is, what do you know about the Quakers and what they value so far? Like, just from that one little chapter, like, what do we know about the Quakers? How are they treated by the community? What are they like? Okay, so taking 1 minute to think. So we're silently thinking. Silently thinking. I would like you to talk with your group at your desk or someone close to you if you're sitting by yourself. Same question, okay? Who are these Quakers? What are they like? What does the community think of them? Chat it with your neighbors.
Hey Kuiper, we're close, right?
Okay?
We're close enough, right?
Let's make good choices today. Okay. Your neighbors, please. So then Charlie would be your closest neighbor? Well, that's not how it works. You work with your closest neighbor. And you could actually talk to him. You can give him a name. And you can say, hey Charlie, can we talk about this? And you put down your book. Talk in the room. What do you think a Quaker is? How are they treated by the community? What are their values? What have we learned in our brief little chapter about Quakers?
No, I didn't.
Are you guys just about one more minute? And then we're going to come together as a group? Remember, we're talking about Quakers. Right, about 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds.
Quakers are likely a white gentleman. Quakers are likely a white gentleman. Do you like oatmeal?
All right, you guys, 5 more seconds to finish up your conversation. 4, 3, you're finishing up. You're getting ready to have a group conversation. 2, facing forward. And 1, your voices are off. All right, you guys, what are some thoughts? What are some thoughts? What did you guys come up with? How are these people treated by the community? What are some values that these guys have? What do you got for me? Jaylani, is your hand up? What are your thoughts? Oh, you guys, I can't hear Jaylani. You think that maybe the community treats them badly? Jacob, what are your thoughts?
I think they're treated bad by not their like native community, but I also feel like it's good thing and it's a bad thing because not treated bad.
No.
But like they didn't own the land where they settled, so but they didn't also they didn't own it.
Why do you think that? What in the book gave you that information?
No, not in the book.
We're talking about the book though. I want to know Quakers from those 10 pages. Okay? So who feels that the Quakers are being treated fairly by the whole town? Nobody, right? Why would the town not be happy with them? Why would the town not be happy with them, Chase? Because they wouldn't fight. They wouldn't fight on either side.
It would just be
Right? They weren't fighting on either side. They were choosing not to fight. Nope, you guys? Yeah. Okay. Any other ideas on Quakers, their values? So why wouldn't they fight? Why wouldn't they fight, do you think? Just your idea. ideas. Why do you think they wouldn't fight? Milena.
They didn't want to get in danger.
Maybe they didn't want to get hurt. Yep. Henry?
Because they're like peaceful people.
They're peaceful people, so they didn't want to hurt other people either. Remy?
They didn't want the people to hate them more and to be mean to them more.
Also, maybe they didn't want to pick a side because they didn't want like a group of people to be really mad at them. Maybe? Yeah. Evie?
I think they were too busy eating oatmeal.
Okay. Charlie?
They just don't want to die.
Maybe? Maybe they just want to live? Yeah? Ethan?
I agree with Henry.
Think that they just want to live?
Well, I was gonna say, maybe they don't have the same religion as other people, so they don't want to fight for a religion that they don't believe
For
in.
other people's beliefs
Yeah.
and battles. Yeah? They just want to
You want to be
focus on their
yourselves.
own group. Yeah? Jacob?
I think that they want to survive because if they get in a war, there's a lot more of the other people, and if they could wipe their whole generation.
Gotcha. So maybe they're a small community and they're afraid that they're going to lose their whole community. Yeah. Jaylani, last one, and then we're going to continue on.
Like, kind of like what everybody else said, like, because they don't want to get hated on or like.
Yeah, didn't want to get hated on. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that just from the little bit that we've read so far, they seem like a very peaceful people, right? They said, love thy neighbor, love thyself, be at peace. They're choosing not to take part in any kind of fighting or battling, which is interesting because the last thing Samuel said was that he would fight, right? All right, you guys, we are going to answer a couple questions in our notebooks. Luca, did you guys have something to add to the discussion?
I like turtles.
Okay. Please, you're going to open your new expedition notebook to page 12. Page 12. Everybody to page 12. Page 12.
What is she
All right, everywhere you have, oh, you're taking out your trash? Okay. All right, could somebody please, using your hand, read us the directions to this page? Page 12. Directions to this page. Directions to this page. Nathan, directions to this page. Actively listening, you guys.
Directions. Use this note catcher as directed by your teacher to capture notes about Samuel and stand straight. Keep this material as it will be used in multiple lessons.
So we have a book, so that last little part doesn't really pertain to us. That's more if I was giving you like a packet, right? Don't lose it. But ours is in a book, so it makes it a lot easier. So we're going to be making some notes about Samuel, who we've met, and then about Stand Straight, who we have not met yet. So that's somebody else in the book that we're going to find out about next chapter. So we're going to keep coming back to this over the next few days. This note catcher, let's see. This note catcher takes us all the way through chapters 8 and 9. So we're going to keep coming back to this after each chapter we read. So today we're going to be looking at the first 3 questions together. And then this afternoon in all block, just because we don't have time this morning, we're going to be looking at question 4. So we're going to be looking at these first 3 questions together. So could someone, using their hand, read us what question 1 is? What is question 1? Let's just give Maya just a quick second. Question 1, Remy.
How does Samuel mostly feel about the war in this chapter?
So, how does Samuel mostly feel about the war in this chapter, you guys? Could a few people share their ideas, and then everyone will have the opportunity to write. Okay? So, how does Samuel mostly feel about the war? Remy?
He doesn't like it.
Okay, he doesn't like it. Any other ideas, thoughts? Nathan?
I agree with Johnny. He doesn't really like
That he doesn't really like it. Jacob?
Like Samuel,
Samuel?
he doesn't really want to, like, there's nobody wants to die of the war, but he wants to fight.
He does want to fight. Yeah. What about the very beginning? You guys, if you read those first like couple sentences, how's Samuel feeling when he's being called a coward? Maybe angry?
Well, he clenches fists, so
Fist? Maybe, maybe he's feeling confused about the war because he wants to fight, but his family doesn't believe in that. So I want everybody to take a minute or two to answer question 1. How does Samuel mostly feel about the war in this chapter? You're going to write an answer in your book. Everyone's answering question 1 in their book. Question 1 in their book. Page 12, question 1. 2 minutes, you guys. You are going to have to defend your answer. This is my heads up to you. If you say that he's feeling so awesome and he loves war, you're going to have to defend that with evidence. So how does he feel about the war in this chapter? What do you think? That's what you're writing. Zion, you can keep your book open. We're going to be doing 3 questions. So you're not doing evidence right now. You're just, how is he feeling? You're going to do evidence next. How is he feeling? We haven't done this yet, but we're going to talk about it before, so as long as you're listening, then you should know what's going on there. So just hang tight. All right, does anybody need another minute? It looks like most of us were done as I was walking around. Okay, 1 more minute, you guys. 1 more minute. You guys, I noticed a lot of you have been going to your backpacks today. We're not doing that. It's not snack time. Stay back to your seats. What's that?
Does that give me extra credit?
Sure. All right, you guys, I know a couple of you are still finishing up question 1, but we're going to start a discussion for question 2, so you can keep writing. Using your hand, could somebody read us question 2? Okay?
How do you know? What details from the text before your answer?
So how do you guys know how he's feeling? If you say that he feels angry, how do you know that?
I already wrote mine.
How do you know that? Okay. How do you know that, Jacob?
How do I know if he felt angry?
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning of the book, they called him a coward and he clenched his fist, and they started talking about how he wanted to fight.
Yeah. So that's evidence from the text, you guys. Samuel clenched his fist so tightly that his knuckles turned white. That tells me he is probably angry. Yeah. What else, you guys? Did you have any other feelings? Any other ideas or any other evidence? What do you guys think? Zion?
We never want to go to the war.
That maybe he he feels like he doesn't want to go to war? Is that what you're saying? So what evidence do you have of that?
Page 2, a little bit down.
Page 2, a little bit down?
Yes.
What does it say for us? Let's take a look.
Right after the thing, we never want to go to war.
No, he's saying the thing was a little.
No, hold on. Let's just take a look. Russian announcement.
You wanna fight though. You will.
But Samuel was not Nathaniel Moon. He'd never go to war. So, yeah, that's perfect, Zion. Okay, so that's evidence. That's what you would write when it asks you to
No one's
give
like-
evidence. Okay, what else? Any other ideas? What about like, go ahead, Jacob.
I think, but I don't know, he wants to fight, but people don't, if people don't want to
Okay, Evie, what are we up to? We'll move in just another minute, you guys, okay? Will you repeat that, Jacob? Sorry.
He wants to fight, but if people don't want to fight anymore.
So maybe he's feeling a bit confused, right? And text evidence for that in the book might be, like it literally says, he felt only confusion. Like the confusion all around them in the settlement today. Like there's, and you might not find evidence in chapter 1, you may end up finding evidence later on in the book that defends your answer, but we're focusing on chapter 1. Dylan.
Okay,
Have you turned around? So he'll only fight for his family. So maybe he has a bit of pride there. Even though his family doesn't believe in that, like they're so important to him. Yeah. So whatever you chose as your answer in question 1, you're gonna give me some text evidence in question 2. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that. Find some text evidence. We've talked about 3 or 4 different ideas. Find some text evidence, you guys. If you chose angry, that text evidence is on that first page.
I put sad because he won a fight.
For what? I think that was at the very last page. Right? Like if any Wilson to try to find us, I just fight for my family. Right? Definitely. Have you answered question 2? Or answer question 2, okay? You just have to flip through the book sometimes, you guys, to find out. You're not expected to memorize the chapter. Flip through it. You answered question 2. Remy, you're answering question 2. Remy? You asking if this is accurate? Yep, that's exactly right. It's very good. It says, I only wish to fight for my family. Yeah, but what? So, you're looking for actual text evidence, right? Text evidence, you're trying to find like quotes, or at least pages, so you can like reference page 10. Text evidence means it's evidence from the text. It's not your opinion, it's you're finding evidence. You guys, I'm going to give you 1 more minute because I see a few people still writing. You're answering question 2 right now. Question 2. Yeah, but
I said he wanted to lose.
all right, you guys, I see lots of us wandering. Let's come back to our seats. We can look at question 3. Back to your seats in 3. We're making our way back to our seats. 2, we're finishing writing up our answer. 1, we're in our own chairs. 1, we're in our own chairs. 0, you should now be in your own chairs with your voices off facing me. Question 3. Can somebody please read question 3? Dylan, I didn't say that. No, I did not. Sit down. Question 3, Francesca.
Explain why Samuel feels that way, based on the details in the text.
Okay, so in question 1, you said Samuel's angry. In question 2, you said he's angry because he clenched his fists together and it went white. But why does he feel that way?
Because he doesn't like war.
Remy?
Because he doesn't like war. He doesn't want
able to go against them.
Okay, but I guess it depends on what your evidence was. But if we went with he's angry, and I know that he's angry because his knuckles turn white, what made him angry in that moment?
Oh,
Why? It's the first sentence, you guys. First sentence in the book. What made him angry? Jaylani?
That someone called him a coward.
Yeah, someone called him a coward. So Samuel is angry because Nathaniel Moon, or I don't know who, called him a coward.
I wouldn't like that.
You're so mean, guys.
So you're taking your information from question 1 and question 2, and in question 3 you're telling me, like, how do you know that? Like, why? Why is he feeling that way? Okay. We're working on question 3.
Yeah, I'm almost.
Question 3. If you didn't, hey group, Luca,
I'm 2,000 years old.
Nathan, if you wrote that he was angry, that's a pretty easy one. But if you wrote something a bit harder, like maybe you felt that he was embarrassed or he was confused, why does he feel that way? I've heard because he was called a coward. Why else might he feel angry or upset or confused, you guys? Why else might he feel that way? Take, please. Why else might he feel that way, Jacob? Okay, Zion?
Just a fighting
Well, and you're kind of on the right track. So he might feel that way because his family's choosing not to fight, and everyone else is mad at them because they are fighting. Right, like the whole town is going through a lot of trauma right now. There's all this fighting. Yeah. Lots of friends are leaving. Lots of us aren't getting along anymore. Yeah. Okay, Jacob, you had a question. Attack. At.
I spell it.
And then tap. So 2 T's. At. And tap. Alright, so you guys are answering question 3. If you are stuck on this, please let me know. I'm going to give you guys just 1 more minute. We've talked about some answers out loud, so if you aren't sure, you've heard some answers today, guys. Okay. During all block this afternoon, we will be talking about question 4, so don't move on to that. There's a little mini lesson that we're going to do first. We have math groups in about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you till 10:15, so that's about 4 more minutes to make sure you have questions 1, 2, and 3 answered. If you are done, you're going to read silently. If you are not done, that's what you're going to work on. I am going to have one person come around and gather up the arrow over the door books in just a second. And if you need my help, you'll put up your hand so I can come around and help you, okay? We have about 4 minutes where I can come and do some one-on-one help with you. Zion, would you please collect a book from everybody's desk and put it up at the front?